Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you how we work out where to live when we move to a new city. So this is one of the most popular questions that I'm asked is where am I living, or how do I find somewhere to live, or how much is my apartment, all that kind of stuff. And the short answer really is that it's going to vary a lot between each country. What we typically do is have a bit of a look online before, maybe look at Airbnb. And if Airbnb is affordable for us, it's normally more expensive than kind of the market rate. But if we're staying for a month or two, then we will email the owner and ask if they can do us a special deal. And normally, if they don't actually live there, if it's a place they rent out full time, you can get a lot of money off if you're staying for a month or 2 months, because they're not normally going to have every night sold in a month. So if they can sell all of it, then it's much better for them. So offer them maybe a third off and just see if they take it. And that can be a really easy way to get everything organized before you even arrive. But even better is to organize it when you actually get there. So what we do normally in Thailand, at least, is arrive and get an Airbnb for just a couple of days, or a hotel or whatever, and then we will get a moped or a taxi and drive around the areas where we want to live and just go into everywhere and ask. So we would normally be looking at a long-term lease on a kind of hotel room where they'll let you stay for like a month or two, or a condo. And typically in Chiang Mai or in Koh Lanta, we end up in a sort of serviced condo or like a hotel type of arrangement where they clean your room and that kind of thing, but there's no like included breakfast or anything. So it's not a fully fledged B&B with food and stuff, it's just a hotel room where they clean it for you. So we normally just go around and ask if they'll let us stay for a month or two and if they have any availability. Of course, now that we've been several times, we have places that we like to stay, so maybe we'll email them in advance and ask. But honestly, most places you can just arrive and ask around. If you're wanting to rent a kind of private apartment rather than a condo, that can be more difficult. So when we were in Berlin, we were using a website kind of similar to Craigslist, I guess, where people are listing their homes either for sublet or for rent. Typically that has a longer term connotation, like you have to stay for 6 months or something like that. But if it's a sublet, you might be able to get it for a bit shorter. It really depends how long you're looking for, what your budget is, all that kind of thing affects it, and of course the country. So in Berlin, accommodation is very hard to come by, almost always long term, gets snapped up really quickly. It's kind of like London in that everything is just really in high demand. Whereas in Chiang Mai or Koh Lanta, in Thailand in general, you can just arrive, they're quite used to doing like long-term lets. My other piece of experience is here in Santiago, where we are right now. They seem to do almost all of it through letting agents. So you go and find an agency and you say, I'm looking for somewhere for 3 months, and they'll find you a place, but then they'll charge you a fee, which can be like about 1 month fee. So it's really designed for people who are staying for longer. But actually our original place in Santiago we found through a Facebook group. So we joined a group of everyone who was on the Startup Chile program with us and in previous years, and one of them was renting out their place that they were leaving. So Facebook groups can be a really good way to do it if you can find, I know for example in Bali there's lots of nomad Facebook groups where people are offering up their places after they leave, or they're offering their Airbnbs for special deals, all that kind of stuff. So Bali for sure has lots of Facebook groups for lettings. I think Chiang Mai probably does as well. In terms of working out which area of town you want to live in, which I always find can be really difficult when you're moving somewhere new and you don't know which areas are safe or fun or have good restaurants. Of course, the best way to do that is to arrive for a few days, like I mentioned, get a hotel, get an Airbnb, and get a feel for the place. But if you can't do that, then I normally find a good way that we do it is we just find out where the co-working space is that we're going to join, and we try and live within walking distance of there. For us, not having to commute is a really big like plus factor for life happiness. If we're having to get the metro or drive or cycle or any of that, then that kind of takes away from time efficiency, from time we can be spending on work, but also happiness, like getting the train at rush hour and all that kind of thing. So we always try and live somewhere that's kind of a 15-minute, 20-25 minute walk from wherever our co-working space is going to be. So if you're not sure what area to live in, probably the co-working space is going to be about where the nomads are. So we normally go for that kind of area in terms of accommodation. And similarly, you can look on Airbnb and see where the accommodation tends to cluster, and that's probably going to be quite a cool area to live. Or of course you can look on blogs and see if there's areas that people really recommend. Maybe some are fancy, maybe some are businessy, maybe some are up and coming. It depends what kind of vibe you're looking for, and of course what your budget is. So it really depends on where you're going, but I would say that's kind of your options is Airbnb but negotiate a discount, find some kind of local agent, use a website like Craigslist or move.com, or depending on which country you're in, try and find what their equivalent of that is, a Facebook group, or just arrive and travel around and see what you can find. We normally do the last one, but it really depends which country you're going to and how flexible they are on leasing and what the kind of culture is like. But let me know in the comments below which country you're going to next and how you're going to find an apartment there, how you find an apartment in your own home country, and maybe between us in the comments we can come up with an idea for most of the world. But that's kind of a quick guide of how we typically do it, and hopefully it will be helpful to you. So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!